Fox Sports.
We are the Force. We are MC.
Royals baseball from Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. One first-place team is gone, the Cleveland Indians, and now another first-place team is here for the weekend, the Boston Red Sox. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joel and Monty are coming up. The Indians were here. They swept the three-game series. The offense is starting to show some signs of life. And in the final two games of the series, the Royals did not have Mike Moustakas, who was out with back spasms. And he returns at the right time tonight with Chris Sale on the mound.
Looking for the bus driver, Mike Moustakas. He can drive. He has a license. He's a proven license, as a matter of fact. And, you know, he hits Sale pretty well. But with Moustakas, what he brings is not only a presence, but a definite threat. A threat to go deep, which you got to have. And the fact that he's been hitting that ball hard, even in the month of June when his numbers were down, he still was all over the baseball, leading in many categories as far as hard hit average goes. He's back and it's good.
Speaking of offense, we can talk all night about the Boston Red Sox, but when we come back, we'll talk about two standouts in particular. Fireworks after the game, and the Boston Red Sox are in town for a Friday night. So the Red Sox are at the top or near the top in just about every important offensive category, not just in the American League, but in the major leagues. But in particular, let's talk about their leadoff man, who seems to get better every year, and a guy who everybody wondered how he would handle the pressure in his first year in Boston.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, but I can tell you what, two main commodities in professional sports, power and speed. If you have one of them, you can do okay. If you have both of them, watch out. You got the real package, and Mookie Betts has both of them. Speed and power. This guy's amazing. He's not a big guy, but generates a lot of bat speed, and he uses the whole field. Very dangerous. Now, if you have one or the other, it's okay. How about power? You want power? He leads the major league. JD Martinez. He don't have speed. He don't need speed. Because when you hit him over the fence, all you do is trot. This guy's amazing what he's brought to the Red Sox this year, and it's been fun to watch if you're a Red Sox fan.
Bullpen was a big issue for the Royals the first month of the season, but the roles are starting to come together, and that will come in handy over the weekend. Joel and Monty will discuss when we come back.
First pitch in just about 7.5 minutes. It'll be his 18th start of the year. Hopefully he can turn things around and pass it over to what has been an improved bullpen. Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. Ryan just talked about it. The bullpen struggled in April. They settled in, then another bump, and now they're settling in again, maybe for good reason.
Yeah, it's been tough. They lost their 9th inning guy, then they lost their 8th inning guy, and Brad Keller to the rotation. But these guys are looking for opportunities, and when you have the opportunity, take the ball, run with it. Your manager's looking for guys who are going to step up, and there have been a lot of guys recently have done a really nice job. And but these last 15 games, very, very respectable. Gotta like to see it. Love to see more save opportunities. What big Willie Peralta can do in that role.
Well, that is our key drive to success, and the bullpen has a nice scoreless streak going right now. Tough task, though, as Jason Hamill and Chris Sale set to do battle. First of 3 coming up from Kauffman Stadium. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, back after this.
Kansas City is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket played gives back to Missouri schools. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by Chevrolet, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall. Find yours at your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. On a warm, windy night at Kauffman Stadium, second series between the Royals and the Red Sox back in late April, early May. Boston took 2 out of 3 from the Royals. They only outscored the Royals by 4, but they out-homered the Royals 8-3. It is blowing in from right field. Otherwise, it is a country hot night, country music night at Kauffman Stadium. It is 92 degrees with the Boston Red Sox in town for a 3-game series, and they can hit. Let's take a look at our Kubota power stats. The Red Sox have the best runs per game average in the major leagues, the second most home runs. Last year they had the fewest home runs in the American leagues. That's a big spike for them. Most extra base hits, and they are the best team hitting with runners in scoring position. And here is their batting order tonight, and it begins with the man we were talking about leading up to the broadcast, Mookie Betts, with his power and speed combination. Among other things, the Red Sox are the second best team in the major leagues on the road. So that's a lot for Jason Hamill to handle tonight.
Sure is a handful for him. Now the opponent averaged 302. He's had better numbers, obviously, but you know the keys to beating these Red Sox: hard in, bust them off the plate, soft with his slider away, because his 2-seam fastball's been hit at a 341 clip with 6 homers. Bust them in. You got to have some success in there. Forward around the horn, Royals defense. Jorge Bonifacio, he's back out there in left field again. Rosie's in right. And you see Moustakas is getting the opportunity over there at third base after his couple of day layoff there. He's had 3 days off in total. Should be good to go.
Waiting for the clock to turn 7:15, which it does. So we appreciate home plate umpire Ryan Blackney keeping an eye on that, and you can hear him yell play. Down and away, ball 1. So it is not an exaggeration before a game when somebody yells play ball. They still say that even at the major league level.
Absolutely love it.
Grounded foul, 1 ball, 1 strike. I mentioned that series back in Boston, and in the first 2 games Mookie Betts was banged up. He had a hamstring problem, and at the end of the second game they used him on defense. So he only started one game in that 3-game series, and he hit 3 home runs.
Yeah, it was amazing. There's another one.
That is number 22 for Mookie Betts. And it is also career home run number 100.
Some kind of hands. I mean, it's like he was waiting for that all along. Now Hamill, like, hard in. That's not hard in. That's out in the middle. 993. He's going to have to be able to put a little fear in the hitters in order to have some success. Good, easy, compact swing. Hits the ball like a 230-pound man.
And now Andrew Benintendi up and away, ball 1. So from a hot hitter to a struggling hitter. Benintendi's had a bad time over his last 10 games, hitting under 160. You brought up the hands, and it helps to be big and strong, but power comes from bat speed. I mean, you could walk by Mookie Betts on the plaza and you would never stop and say, that looks like a guy who's hitting 22 home runs in the major leagues.
You never would. And you're exactly right. It's all about hand speed. And when you're 5'9", 177, you wonder, where does it come from? Of course, you get a lot in your hips. Your hips help your hands, but being able to generate that bat speed right over the home plate area is huge. And that ain't coming back either.
Merrifield to the wall.
Oh.
So maybe that wind we were talking about helped out just a little. Benintendi hits it into deepest right center field, and the wind is blowing in from right.
Oh, that's the only thing that kept it in. But I'll tell you what, Whitley Merrifield today couldn't wait to go out and take some balls in the outfield. He didn't have time to talk to me. He's like, you know, I got to work. Let's go. So that's what he worked on. Live balls off the bat, and he working the wind. He knows the elements of a baseball game, can really control the outcome. Wind is one of them.
So 1 out to J.D. Martinez, and he swings at the first pitch, and he is as dangerous as anybody in the major leagues on the first pitch. So Hamill's fortunate he fouled it away. 26 home runs. That leads the Red Sox, and I just told you that the Red Sox last year had the fewest home runs in the American League last year. J.D. Martinez already now has 2 more home runs than any Red Sox hitter all of last season.
It's nice when you have the resources, you can go out and fill a hole and fill a need. Dave Dombrowski did that.
Fastball is high, 1-2 on Martinez.
You know, if there's any young aspiring big league ball players out there watching, and one of the things you want to watch in this whole series is J.D. Martinez, and not the fact that he's a big strong guy. It's what he does before he gets in the batter's box that you need to pay attention to, with it from his shoulders to his breathing. Watch what he does every pitch. Now he's 6'6", 235. He's a big man. Look at that. Watch his shoulders. Okay, he takes the deep breath, lifts his shoulders, and then he's telling himself, relax. And he'll breathe. He'll look at his bat, and he keeps a tremendous focus after every pitch.
Question was, during the offseason, going from Detroit, where there's some pressure, to Boston, where there's a tremendous amount of pressure, would he be able to relax? That's hit hard into left field. One hop to Bonifacio, who's out there tonight. So the Red Sox open with a home run, a fly ball to deep center field, and now a base hit to left.
Slider just stayed up. He'd like to have finished that down off the plate, and a hitter as prolific as JD's not going to miss that.
And here's Steve Pearce, who was traded to Boston from the Toronto Blue Jays. Sliders in for a strike. Hamill over his career has been remarkably balanced against righties and lefties, but he's had trouble this year with right-hand batters who are hitting .342. And the first thing you could point to with numbers like that would be the effectiveness of his slider. It's not the only pitch, but when his opponent's batting average in years past was under 200 against his slider, he was just wearing out right-hand batters.
Yeah, last year he wasn't lining up properly with his upper body and his lower body. He was having some issues with lining up. This year it's been out over the front leg. And in order to finish a slider down and out of the way, you got to get up over that front leg and really finish down through it. And when you're 6'6", it's hard to keep all of those mechanics working at the same time. This year the slider's been up, and therefore it's been getting hit.
Pierce had a big series against the Royals when we were in Toronto back in April. He had 5 hits in a 3-game series. Didn't mean to do it, and a slow roller out to Moustakas, and the throw is off the bag, and Duda's tag attempt is late. It is a base hit for Pierce, and the Red Sox have 2 on with 1 out.
Moose wasn't sure to make that on the run or to shuffle his feet. And if he'd have done it again, he probably would have just picked it up and thrown it off balance, as he makes that play with no problem.
And now Xander Bogaerts. 13 home runs among his 40 extra base hits this year. Fastball with good movement.
Yeah, he wants it in, but also in order for Hamill to survive the Red Sox, he's going to have to come in 3 or 4 inches more. I mean, he's going to come in for effect, and that's what we're talking about for this inning here. Pretty much straight up. Has induced found 5 ground ball double plays this year. He'd love that. Bogaerts is just hitting to 7.
Two balls, 1 strike. Hamill did not face the Red Sox when we were there back in late April, early May. High slider. 2-2. And now 3 balls, 2 strikes, and the Red Sox are just not chasing that slider.
No, obviously they're schooled, and they're a patient team. Professional hitters. Going to make you throw a strike. 3-2 here. He's got to be in swing mode. So you want to attack down the zone if you can.
And now Bogaerts is on with a walk, so the bases are loaded with 1 down, and the only out in the inning was a catch by Whit Merrifield up against the wall in right center field.
You talked about the ability to hit with runners in scoring position. The Red Sox #1 at 284. This man right here, Brock Holt's, hitting 324 with a runner in scoring position.
Brock Holt was on the disabled list when the Royals were in Boston earlier this year. He is playing at second base tonight. Dustin Pedroia was on the disabled list when the Royals were in Boston, and he's back on the disabled list again. More problems with his knee, which he had surgery on during the offseason.
Had some success working with the doctor, doing some conditioning type of drills. He should be back pretty soon.
That's a first borderline call that's gone Hamill's way.
Two-seamer. Looked in to the hitter, and then by the time it gets to the plate, it moves back over.
Pulled foul behind first base coach Tom Goodwin. The Red Sox base coaches are former Royals. Tom Goodwin, who might have been the fastest in the game during his time, and Carlos Fabulous, who played most of his professional career with the Royals but began his coaching career with the Red Sox. He was also a minor league manager. Line drive into right field to Herrera. That'll produce 2 more runs, and Bogaerts will go first to third. It is 3-0 Boston.
Slider on 84, knee high on the inner half, and Holt was looking for it. With 2 strikes, he's going to be aggressive in swing mode, and he got one he could handle. And now Cal Eldred's going to come out and have a visit with the veteran. See if he can talk him through the first inning, which can be difficult for veteran players or pitchers that are young. First year, seeing what works. So far, the Red Sox have liked what they've seen.
I had said that Hamill did not face the Red Sox earlier this year. He did. It was April 30th, and Boston scored 8 runs in 4 2/3 innings, and it was a 5-run inning that got the Red Sox going. And not just any 5-run inning. It was an inning that began with 2 outs and nobody on base. So this is the opposite of that. This inning began with a home run. And now a high pop up to the right side. Mondesi wants it, and the wind pushes it further into foul territory. So Eduardo Nunez helps out Hamill with an out on 1 pitch. So Bogaerts is at third. Holt is at first with 2 down, and now the switch hitting catcher Sandy Leon. And now Hamill is coming up on 30 pitches in this top of the first inning. The Red Sox have 3 runs on 4 hits. Fouled off of Salvi's glove. Boston, just like the Indians, who were just here at the end of a long road trip, although they had a day off yesterday here in KC. This is a 3-city, 9-game trip. They lost 2 out of 3 at the Yankees, and then they swept the Nationals. And now they have 4 runs in the top of the first inning. Leon drives in Bogaerts. Holt stops at second.
Again, another hitter hitting 300 with a runner in scoring position. He's looking to hit, and that's a pitch that's up. It's looked like a changeup that stayed up. That's how they're able to put these balls in play hard. They're just not located properly. And we'll want to try to correct that as soon as he can.
Now the Red Sox will bat around. This is number 9 hitter Jackie Bradley Jr. Fastball's a little bit low.
You see his numbers. He's not having the best offensive season, but you can't afford to leave him out of the lineup because of his defense. He's so good with a glove in center field. Saves a lot of runs, and a lot of pitches. He's having a hard time with the breaking ball. Who doesn't?
And the changeup.
Exactly. It's not easy.
Three and 0. Former college teammates at the University of South Carolina. And as the story goes, Witt was the center fielder until Jackie Bradley Jr. arrived and pushed him out of center field. Talk about how smooth Merrifield is in making the transition from the outfield to the infield or vice versa, but that started in college, beginning as an outfielder and finishing as an infielder.
Shot of Whitley out there. He looked a little anxious, didn't he? He looked like, you know, can't wait to hit. I guarantee you. He's thinking all about base and Sale. He wants to get out of this inning. It's pulling for him.
And now the runners will be going. Holt at second, Leon at first.
Well, you hate for this to be the deciding inning right here, but really, with that guy you know who on deck, you want to throw him a strike. Don't walk him. Make him put it in play. Take your chances.
Grounded sharply to Duda, who handles a tough hop.
There you go.
And goes to the bag. 36 pitches, 4 runs, 5 hits for the Red Sox. And here come the Royals against Chris Sale. Leadoff home run. Whit Merrifield has a leadoff home run during this homestand. He'll be leading off in center field, and with Chris Sale on the mound, Alex Gordon is not in the lineup. Jorge Bonifacio will be in left. Hunter Dozier is the designated hitter. And here he is, Chris Sale. If those numbers aren't good enough, 8-4 with a 2.41 ERA. His ERA in his last 5 is 1.03.
Well, looking for any possibility to beat him. you better see him up. That means look up in the strike zone. He throws a sinker only 14% of the time, but the league's hitting 383 off it with 2 homers. See him up and don't miss it. Now he's given up 10 home runs to right-handed batters and absolutely 0 to lefties. So you have a chance if you can see him up. Take him deep.
89 miles an hour outside to Witt. He drove in 3 in the Royals Indian series and now back at 97. 2 balls and no strikes. Two and 1. Witt has a 7-game hitting streak. He has driven in 4 and hitting .379 during the streak. Two balls, 2 strikes. And on our Toyota League leaders, it's the 3rd time that Witt has had a hitting streak of 7 or more games, which is tied for 4th in the American League. No surprise that Jose Altuve has 7.
You know, looking at that list of names there, got to have some kind of speed. That helps you. Picking up an infield hit there, here or there.
Popped up into shallow center. Holt goes out and makes a one-hand play.
Defensively, the Red Sox, Mookie Betts out in right field. He's got 2 Gold Gloves, 1 in 16 and 1 in 17. He grew up a second baseman. He's a tremendous athlete. Now, overall, defensively, the runs saved for the Red Sox, they've struggled a little bit. -35 this season. That's 25th out of 30 teams in Major League Baseball. So they're not exactly saving the runs, but they are 4th in fewest errors in the AL. They do play a pretty tight defense. They're just not saving the runs.
Strike on Rosell Herrera. He had another good series with 5 hits against the Indians. 98 miles an hour, 1 ball, 1 strike. He joined the Royals on June 17th, and since then he has the most hits, doubles, and total extra base hits. Down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Loved how Joel and Goldie was giving him love on the Price Chopper Royals live pregame show today. It's all deserved. The guy plays happy. He plays with energy, and he has joy and enthusiasm in his game. And believe me, Joel and Monty. And they were talking about that, how, you know, that kind of positive energy goes a long way on a team.
Well, when you're Chris Sale, you get calls like that. I don't know if that pitch was ever a strike. Dropping down as a left-hand pitcher. That thing came out of the first base dugout.
Yeah, that's what you call a backdoor slider, but I don't think that it quite made the back door.
So 2 down to Mike Moustakas, who was a late scratch on Tuesday with back spasms and felt a little better on Wednesday, but Ned Yost, knowing that yesterday was going to be a day off, saw an opportunity to give Moustakas a couple of days off, and now he's back in there at 3rd base. Oh, and 2.
Moose has a lot of experience against Sale. Sale's White Sox days. Some good success against him. That's really good numbers against a Cy Young candidate.
3 up, 3 down with a couple of strikeouts right after his offense gave him a 4-0 lead. with Mookie Betts' leadoff home run. And here's StatCast powered by AWS.
Launch angle 30 degrees tells me the ball was hit pretty well on the line. It wasn't in the 40s. That's a high towering shot.
What was that fan's launch angle going over the back row for that home run ball?
That was about a 10 because it went just straight down.
It was his 22nd home run this year and number 100 in his career. Herrera comes up in right, comes way in right. One down. Tonight, American military personnel serving overseas are watching this game on AFN, the American Forces Network. So we welcome those in countries around the world aboard naval ships at sea, and we thank you for your service. Strike to Andrew Benintendi, and the Red Sox almost made it back-to-back home runs to begin the game after Betts homered. Benintendi pinned Whit Merrifield up against the wall in right center field for an out.
But it's a pretty stiff wind. Was able to help hold that in.
Curveball's a little bit high. 2 balls and 1 strike. Blowing in out of the east.
It's another young man with speed and power, just in his 2nd year in the majors. There's a nice future ahead of him.
Stayed back on a changeup, and that's going to drop in front of Bonifacio. Pretty impressive right there in a hitter's count to not be over aggressive and take a changeup the other way.
I'll say. Nice looking all around hitter. Now he loads, but he doesn't really load his hips. He just picks up his foot and sets it down. He's able to keep it in control, but head position is the key when you get a hit like that. Keeping your head on the ball. Hands through it.
JD Martinez singled and scored in that 4-run first inning. Drives it to right and gone. A line drive home run to right field. Number 27 for Martinez, and his major league leading 72nd and 73rd RBIs.
That's where he lives. That's where he hits most of his homers. 92. He's trying to stay away from him, but when he gets his arms extended, I told you how big the guy was. At 6'6", he's really strong, and he didn't even get all that.
And now Steve Pearce. And he hits that into right center field, which is wide open. And that's off the bottom of the wall. Pearce had an infield single first time up. And now he has a 1-out double.
Middle. For the record, JD Martinez is 6'3". I gave him 3 inches.
Well, he's hitting like it.
I know. Exactly.
And now Bogarts. He took a walk in the first inning and scored the last of the 4 runs. Hamill's fastball is in for a strike, and they're going to work in the Royals bullpen. Burch Smith, as Hamill has given up 6 runs on 8 hits. in an inning and a third, including 2 home runs. No balls, 2 strikes. A little strange for me to see any kind of ground ball near Carlos Fabulous that he didn't jump on and
Field.
make some sort of a play, but those days are behind him now. He just let that little dribble roll right by him. He could really play second base.
Nice.
When he was first called up. I'll bet if you asked Denny Matthews about some of the great shortstop second base combinations in Royals history, and you know, Cookie Rojas and Freddie Patek come to mind. Frank White, UL Washington. If you go, you go way back. But I'll bet Denny would bring up Carlos Fabulous and Ray Sanchez. Now Bogarts, that's deep to left field, and that's a 2-run home run, and Boston leads 8-0 in the second inning.
I'm not sure Birch Smith is loose and ready to come in yet. So Cal's going to come out to the mound, but that's a hanging slider, 84. This ball club here, they don't mess around. It's one of the best baseball teams in the world.
And they've been good since the very beginning of the season. They started 17-2. And then they were no hit. Remember Sean Manaea, no hit. The Red Sox back in April. Alex Cora's in his first season, and he's coming off a championship season. He was Houston's bench coach, so he experienced that. And if you don't think Boston is a tough place to play, how about John Farrell? Finished with back-to-back first-place seasons. He had 93 wins last year and got fired.
Wow. And you know, the strength of Cora is his communication skills, but John Farrell was a good communicator as well. So you're right about the marketplace.
Dusty Baker got fired. Would they win 95 games? 97? No balls, 2 strikes. Joe Girardi was 1 game away from the World Series. He got fired. Brock Holt was down in the count 1-2 in the first inning and drove in 2 with a single to right. That's hard hit, but it comes up nicely for Mondesi. 2 down. Red Sox scored 4 in the first. They have added 4 more in the second. Down and away to Eduardo Nunez. Nunez saw 1 pitch in the middle of that big first inning and fouled out to Mondesi. 1-1. One and 2. 2-2 on Nunez. Just about every hitter in the Red Sox lineup is not only having a good year, but they're hot at the moment. Nunez is hitting just .256 this year, but he's hit safely in 10 of his last 11. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Jackie Bradley Jr. is hitting just a little bit over 200 this year, but in his last 10 games he's hitting about 400. Jammed, and it's Escobar going out to make the play. Back-to-back 4-run innings. The Red Sox have already hit 3 home runs, and they lead 8-0.
As you enjoy a Miller Lite, look forward to the whole true moment later in tonight's game.
Chris Sale got the Royals 3 up, 3 down with a couple of strikeouts in the first inning. So Salvador Perez, Jorge Bonifacio, and Hunter Dozier are coming up in the second. Salvi's trying to get it going offensively, slowly but surely. He has a hit in 4 of his last 5 games. But batting .214 overall, and when you're hitting .214, it always seems like as you're digging into the batter's box, the count is always 0-2. Just barely nicked it foul.
Yeah, but he understands the reason why. He knows that he's from the very beginning of the season on, he's been trying to pull that ball, and it's just hard to be a one-dimensional type hitter. Like I said, .272 career average is good for a guy like Salvi who can't run a whole lot of it. That's the way he wants to start getting that average back up there. He's got to use the whole field. He knows it.
Ball, 2 strikes. He has the highest percentage of at-bats that last just 1 pitch.
That's another reason. He guess hitter.
Sale has struck out the last 3, all with that devastating slider. 1 down. Nebraska fans, tomorrow is your chance to show your Royals and Huskers pride. Purchase your theme ticket at royals.com/Huskers for an exclusive Royals cap featuring the Huskers logo and colors. So tomorrow night, Huskers night, presented by Fox Sports Kansas City and Rally House. Alex Gordon is not in there tonight against Chris Sale. Bonifacio drives it to the gap in left center field, and Jackie Bradley Jr. can't quite catch up to it. And now bobbled out there, so Bonifacio heads for third. It'll probably be a double and an error. And it is. Double and an error 8.
Like how Bonifacio was ready for it, though, and this pitch as well. He was ready for the pitch up. He see him up. That's exactly what the key is. 84 is his changeup, but it's up in the zone, and he's able to get the barrel on it. Now it comes hard around the bag, slows down. Jackie Bradley took his eye off it when he transferred it from glove to hand, and he didn't hesitate, and he picked up third base.
So a chance for Hunter Dozier to drive in a run. Slider is down and away, ball 1. Dozier's the designated hitter tonight. Got his first major league stolen base on Wednesday in the Royals Indians finale. This has been a brutal stretch of games for the Royals against, first of all, the teams they've played and some of the starters they've seen recently. So Chris Sale just adds to that list. But this is a 15-game stretch that's coming to an end against the Astros, the Angels, the Brewers, the Mariners, the Indians, and now the Red Sox. And name me a bad team in that group.
There isn't. Maybe the Angels might be the team closest to 500.
They are right at 500, but all those other teams are either in first place or, in the case of the Mariners, second place and only a game and a half out. Dozier takes a walk. And just in the last week, Hud, the Royals have faced Felix Hernandez, James Paxton, Corey Kluber, Trevor Bauer. And now Sale tonight, David Price tomorrow, Rick Porcello the day after that.
Yeah, and you know what, though? This is good for our team. Some of the young hitters, you want to face the best. And you got to learn how to beat the best in order to do it. And the Royals have done that. In their glory years they beat the best. And Sale was one of them. And so right now, these young guys are getting a dose of some of these pitchers back to back, and they're seeing how tough it can be up here. World's greatest perform here. And Sale, there's only been one other lefty in our era that is like him, and he's a Hall of Famer. So you're facing one of the best. What makes Sale so difficult than the other Hall of Famer, Randy Johnson, is Sale has an arm angle. He comes down. He throws from the side like that. Really presents a lot of difficulties for lefties and righties.
99 miles an hour. Now, to your point, a lot of guys who drop down, there's usually not a whole lot of velocity. The dropping down provides deception. This guy has deception and velocity.
And so you see the splits of what he's done to the lefties and righties this year, or what they've done. Nothing against him. Now righties can get him if he leaves it up in the zone. That's why we're saying see him up. Now Duda, there's 100. I'm going to talk about that, how he's made some adjustments 4 starts ago, a little adjustment in his arm swing that has made him actually throw a few miles an hour higher. But Duda's 2 for 2 in his career off him. I said, Lucas, how could you even get 1 hit off the guy? You faced him twice and got 2 hits. He said, the slider, if it starts at my back hip, it's going to be a strike and one to swing at. If the slider starts in on me, it's going to be off and sweep me away. So you really got to concentrate on picking up that release point. Look, he looks comfortable against it. What you do? Randy Johnson threw 100, but it was a little bit more over the top and more predictable for the release point. But, you know, when you're throwing 100 miles an hour and then he drops a slider like that on you, it's tough to pick up that release point. It doesn't give you much time to see it.
So 4 strikeouts. And now it's Escobar with runners at first and third, 2 down. Outside with a slider. A reminder, tomorrow's game is not on Fox Sports Kansas City. It will be on Fox. David Cohn, former Royal, will be part of the broadcast team, and he's going to join us in the next half inning to preview that game. And also give us some insight on the Red Sox. Being a regular member of the Yankees broadcast team, he sees a lot of the Red Sox. Two and one. Coney will be joined by Kenny Albert and A.J. Pierzynski. J.P. Morosi will be the sideline reporter. That is a foul ball. J.P. spent a little bit of time with Joel and Monty during Price Chopper Royals Live.
Entertaining and educating.
Two and two. Three balls and 2 strikes. Adalberto Mondesi is on deck. Mitch Meyer, Royals first base coach, is reminding Hunter Dozier that he's running on this pitch. And Escobar gets a base hit to left field. That was a fastball up at 100 miles an hour, and he got on top of it. So Bonifacio's 1-out double turns into a run.
That's the 25th hit that Escobar has gotten off a Sale in his career, and 73rd at bat. I mean, that's a lot. You're facing this guy. He's confident. You could tell Esky was waiting for that heater, and to turn on it at 100, beautiful thing. That's called keeping the line moving.
Now fouled back by Mondesi, who had a big hit on the last road trip against Josh Hader. Nasty left-hander. Hit a double off the left field wall. Mondesi's down in the count, 0-2.
Sale changing speeds on his slider really does give the hitters fits. I mean, he's nasty enough. They're probably talking about that. Say, well, what do we want to do here? This guy's got a pretty light bat, and only faced him 2 times. He's 0 for 2, and he's changing speeds. There they are. But look at the slider. The opponent's only hitting 102 on that slider. Arm angles and change of speeds does the trick. Oh, and not to mention the velocity. Takes something off. 80, 81 miles an hour.
Slider is pulled foul off the dugout sweep.
Hitting a guy like Sale and all those great pitchers that you mentioned is a mindset. You come to the ballpark with a mindset. If you come with a set like, oh no, not this guy, you're in trouble. You have to say, all right, I'm going to get him. You have to be positive in your thought process, starting from when you wake up. I'm going to get him, or you'll never succeed.
Miles an hour, strikes out Mondesi, and Sale gives up a run in the second inning, but he has already struck out 5. David Cohn will join us. Look at that young guy. Tomorrow is the Brewers host the Braves at 2:30 on FS1, and then it's the Royals and the Red Sox at 6 on Fox. You can also stream it live on the Fox Sports app, and part of that broadcast team tomorrow is Kansas City and David Cohn, the pride of Rockhurst High School. And when you were in town with the Yankees earlier this year, Rustin Dodd of The Athletic wrote a great story about you and your broadcasting career and how you have really embraced the advanced numbers. And I wanted to ask you, when I saw you, I didn't think I'd see you till we were back in New York, but when you were a pitcher, were there numbers available then, maybe not like today, but then were there certain numbers that you like to look at that maybe weren't mainstream at the time?
Not really. We didn't have access to the type of data that's out there nowadays. We had, Rex, we had the old school scout reports, or the guy, the advanced scout and high and tight and low and away, and you just heard the same thing over and over again. So it was difficult. I would have liked to have known the numbers on first pitch fastball hitters.
Oh, exactly.
The tendencies, who's aggressive, who will spot you a strike. There's a lot of times throughout the course of a game where if a guy's taking, you can get a lot of the plate, and if you get a feel for that pitching, you can jump ahead of a lot of hitters that way.
So when you played, you may have known that a guy had that reputation, but there wasn't the number to say, hey, pitching coach say, hey, here are the numbers to prove it.
Yeah, exactly. And over the course of a whole season, then you see trends that kind of present themselves, and you can trust it a little more.
So what now, as a broadcaster in a pitcher's mind, what of all the numbers that are available now, which ones do you find really interesting that are kind of shaping the way the game's going now?
Well, I think the analytics have their place. It's still human beings playing the game. It's also, a situation where, players nowadays, some of them can't handle that information. And Rex, certain players that couldn't get jammed up with that sort of information.
Paralysis by analysis.
Exactly. Some could handle it, some couldn't. But I've always been fascinated with the luck factor.
Nice Nice backhand by Mondesi to get Leon.
Rex, you can speak to this too. How many times were we on the bench and we saw a starting pitcher giving up rockets all over the place, and we'd say he's in a tree.
Exactly.
And now we have the analytics that can peel back the layers, and you can factor in exit velocity, you can factor in quality of contact, and you can kind of tell who's lucky and who's not, who's over their skis a little bit, who's hitting in bad luck.
Right, and the numbers might not show it as a hitter that you're in a slump, but now you can see he's hitting the ball. He just has bad luck.
It's true, and that's why I'm a grumpy old pitcher, Ryan, who thought I should have won more games. I didn't get enough run support, and that's what attracted me to analytics, because I always thought that the one-loss record for a pitcher could be really deceiving if you didn't get a lot of run support or defensive support behind you. And case in point, my 2 years with the Royals back in the 90s, and I signed with the Royals in '92 as a free agent. Ewing Kauffman, the great late Ewing Kauffman, signed me back, and I was last in the league in run support in my first year back, and I was 11-14 with a record. And everybody told me we had a horrible year, and I said, actually, it's one of the best years I ever had, because I got 11 wins out of the last in the league in run support numbers. And then the next year I won 16 games before the strike, and we had a great team that year. I got a lot better run support, and you started to thrive. And as a pitcher, when you get run support, you get confidence, and you realize you don't have to be perfect. So analytics helps us peel back the layers on the so-called luck factor, both pitching and hitting.
And I think something that we all struggle with as broadcasters, and when to use the analytics, it needs to be something that we can explain to fans. It's one thing for analytics, as Bert Smith gets a strikeout of Jackie Bradley Jr., 2 down. I hope you can stick around, by the way. We got a lot to talk about. Okay.
Of course. Yeah.
So, it's one thing for analytics to be part of the scouting report when you got baseball men talking to baseball men, but now how do you take that number and explain it to hardcore baseball fans, moderate baseball fans, or fans that they love their team but they really don't know that much about the ins and outs of the game?
You have to keep it very simple, and if you cannot explain it concisely, you should probably stay away from it. And especially here in the broadcast booth, you have to be cognizant of the fact that there's a lot of old-time baseball fans that don't want to hear constant numbers thrown at them on the air. So I try to be careful. If I can't explain it quickly and peel back a few layers for fans and then get on to the next play, and I usually stay away from it, on broadcast. But certainly there's other ways to do it on social media, and some of the blogs that I follow in New York are very good. Some of these young kids that are doing some great work in some of the local blogs, and here in Kansas City as well. I think all this information is for the public. Each team has their own proprietary knowledge or their own database, but you could go to Fangraphs, you can go to Baseball Reference, you can go to Baseball Prospectus online, and all that information is there for you.
The fans are more informed than ever. I mean, a lot of times, earlier in our careers, we had stuff that nobody else had, but that's not the case anymore. And we'll continue with David Cone as Bert Smith. After Jason Hamill gives up 8 in the first 2 innings, he has a 1-2-3 top of the 3rd. legacy seat at tonight's game. Jackie has served on boards at Hope House and has offered up her expertise in the areas of legislation and communications, and recently recognized as an everyday hero by Hope House. We continue to visit with David Cohn. 8-1 Red Sox in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
David, you grew up here. You went to Rockhurst. Great school. But you surprised me by saying they didn't have a baseball team then. Well, how did you get as good as you got?
They didn't have a baseball team. They do now. They're playing pretty well. They actually got far along in the state championship this year before they fell out. But I played in the Van Johnson Summer League here locally, and it was a league when I played, and I think it still is. I sponsor one of the teams, the BJ Raiders. That was 21 and under. So when I was 15, I was playing against kids from college. It was the Big 8 back then. It was kids, you know, students from Kansas University, Jayhawks, Missouri Tigers. So that, you know, when I was 15, I was playing against guys that were way better than me and over my head. But I learned a lot in that league, in the Van Johnson League, and I got drafted by the Royals out of that league.
Who was your coach?
Pat Nolan was a legend in that league for years. He passed away a few years ago. Before he did, he asked me to sponsor the team, which I gladly did. But Pat Nolan was a legend locally in baseball here. Longtime coach. He coached up until his early 90s.
Wow.
Still full uniform.
That's awesome. Did he get a chance to watch you pitch in the big leagues, though?
He did. You know, I had him out here at Royal Stadium when I made my debut. 1986, made my debut with the Royals.
Special.
That was a great day. You know, after graduating high school in 1981, it took me 5 years in the Royals farm system before I finally made it up and made my debut here.
That's a great story.
And I think a lot of people, you know, who will associate you, being a Kansas Citian and Rockhurst and with the Royals, would be surprised how little time you spent here. I mean, what, 86 and then 92, 93, correct?
92 and 93, right. And then 93, 94.
93, right. 94.
94, we had won 14 games in a row right before the strike in the second week of August 12th, and that just derailed everything. We really felt like we had turned it back around in Kansas City, that we were on the upswing. We were a game and a half out of first behind the White Sox that year. We were trending in the right direction, as they say nowadays. But the strike derailed everything back then, and then the next spring I was traded again.
David, how about the 50th season for the Royals this year? I saw Lou Piniella for the first time in a long time. I don't know if Lou's been back here outside of his uniform. And it was neat to see some of the guys, you know, and you're a big part of that.
I remember growing up, Jay, you talked about raised Royal. You know, that was me. I mean, I listened to every game on the radio. Denny Matthews, Fred White. It was my childhood, just listening, and a diehard Royals fan.
There's 2 outs now, unfortunately, but I got to talk about Sale's arm angle. It's nasty. I faced Randy Johnson a lot, and he was more conventional, a little bit more over the top. He rarely would come down the side. He's now throwing harder, Sale is, and to me, would probably be more difficult to hit than the big unit.
He's very comparable. He's the modern day version of the big unit, and that's saying a lot. And he still has a ways to go to get to that category. You're talking about the greatest left-handed strikeout artist in history. There's Randy Johnson and there's Steve Carlton. Now this guy might saddle up before he's done right into that category. CC Sabathia as well. And I've heard his delivery described as an octopus falling out of a tree. I mean, it's all arms and legs, and you don't know which way he's coming from. That's got to be a very uncomfortable at bat for a left-handed batter as Moose steps in here.
And only one time on the disabled list with an arm-related issue.
And that was the knock, right, on him.
Nunez into foul territory. Gosh, we could spend all night with you, but we got to let you go.
Yes,
you got a broadcast tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks for the off day tomorrow night, buddy.
Let's enjoy the barbecue.
Thank you.
all military by sharing a photo or video with hashtag HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
It is 8-1 Boston. The Red Sox scored 4 in the first and 4 in the second against Jason Hamill. Bert Smith took over in the third and got the Red Sox in order with a strikeout, and now outside to Andrew Benintendi. He singled and scored on the J.D. Martinez home run in the second. Here's a base hit into right field. And Boston has 10 hits. Let's go down to the field, and here's Joel.
All right, a lot of people have been talking about Adalberto Mondesi. When will he play every day? Talking to Mike Jerschley today, and he said the goal is to make him an everyday player, but you know, that doesn't have to happen immediately this year. They want to be able to work him into it for a lot of reasons, but he'll go out there, Jersch said, every day, and when he's playing second, take balls at second. When he's playing short, take balls there. Jerschley saying that the biggest difference really is, and Hud can talk about this, in the footwork in turning a double play. He said that the next step defensively for Mondesi is just to get better and more consistent with his throws. Jersch said, as that bat goes flying into the dugout, Jersch said he's probably getting sick of me saying over and over again, finish your throws. But he said he's got such a strong arm that sometimes he forgets to get his legs underneath it. Get the lower half more involved. You become more accurate, stronger, less injury risk. Jerschley did say this. Since coaching or managing baseball since 1990, he said that Adalberto Mondesi has the best range of any middle infielder he's ever coached.
Pretty impressive, Joe. And so is Mike Jerschley. He's worked hard with a lot of these young Royals players, and he's an excellent infield instructor. You listen to him and never ever get tired of hearing him tell a player, get under your feet. What is he yelling at Mondesi?
Finish your throws.
Finish your throws. Finish them. Keep that up, Jersch, because that young man's got a chance to be a really nice major league ball player. And to be able to stay under your feet is important. I got yelled at by Hall of Famer Earl Weaver one time. I lost a game for him by throwing off balance on a play I didn't set my feet. He yelled at me and let me have it. You set your feet, you know where the ball's going. Don't ever throw a ball when you're not set. It's important, especially when you have a cannon like he does. Excellent arm.
Martinez hits it hard to right field again. Herrera runs it down. Benintendi had gotten almost all the way to second base. J.D. Martinez is out for the first time tonight.
He's a center fielder in right field. He's a lot like Mookie Betts. He takes perfect routes. He almost looks like a natural outfielder, and he was raised a shortstop. Has a knack for the ball.
Runner at first with one out for Steve Pearce. He has 2 hits. He has an infield single, a double, and 2 runs scored. Two balls and no strikes. With a scoreless third inning, Bert Smith is on a nice little roll. He has pitched 7 consecutive scoreless innings. And he'll get a long look tonight with Ned Yost having to go to the bullpen in the third. 2-1.
Bert Smith is another one of those young bullpen guys that's earning his spot and doing it by performance. That's what you do. You got to show. This is called the show for a reason. People watch it. He's got the stuff for it. Good mid-90s fastball, hard curve, changeup. Strong lower body. Upper as well. (92-96).
Still 2-2.
How fresh was that having David Cone up here? We could have had him the whole game. Awesome. Interesting how he made it to the big leagues without even pitching in high school.
Well, on an organized high school team, he was playing baseball in high school. Escobar makes a play. Our University of Kansas Health System injury report update. Blaine Boyer has been transferred from the 10-day disabled list to the 60-day disabled list. The Royals acquired left-hand pitcher Enny Romero off of waivers from the Pirates. And he is listed on the active roster, giving Ned Yost a third lefty option out there with Brian Flynn and Tim Hill. Trevor Oakes was sent down to AAA to make room on the 25-man roster.
He's just not any Romero. He's Enny Romero. There he is.
Well played. Escobar backs up to get an easier hop, although there was nothing easy about that ball, and he throws out Xander Bogaerts. And now Bert Smith has back-to-back scoreless innings.
He's got skills. That was a lot tougher than it looked.
Hungry for legendary pizza and chicken? It's Pizza Ranch for the win. 8-1 Boston. Chris Sale has struck out 7 in 3 innings. On Saturday at the Yankees, he struck out 11. He has 3 consecutive starts with 11 or more strikeouts. And he's on his way again here tonight. 0-2 against Salvador Perez, who went down on a slider in the second inning.
You know, we talked about the arm angle, how difficult that can be. But when you throw a pitch 101 and 80, you know, there's a lot of opportunity to keep the hitter off balance.
And then with the slider in mind, Sale sneaks a fastball by Salvador Perez at 97. And it's easy to sneak a fastball by somebody when it's 97 miles an hour. Mookie Betts has hit his 100th home run tonight. Chris Sale's going for his 100th victory. And our sprint trivia question. Chris Sale is one of 3 active pitchers with 100 or more starts and an ERA at 3 or under, and has never won a Cy Young. Double clutch by Bogarts, and Bonifacio has an infield single. He's 2 for 2. One of 3 active pitchers, so Sale and 2 others, 100 or more starts, an ERA 3 or under, and has never won a Cy Young. Who are the other 2? Hunter Dozier took a walk his first time up. One ball, 1 strike. Nasty slider. 1-2. And then back with a fastball at 98, and that is 9 strikeouts in 3 2/3 innings for Sale.
Our Missouri Lottery replay is going to show you a flaming fastball at 98, upper part of the zone. You know, better to hack, because if you don't hack, they'll send you back.
And now Lucas Duda. Speaking of strikeouts, last year Chris Sale in finishing 2nd in the Cy Young, so he's been in the Cy Young talk just about every full season of his big league career. He just hasn't won, but he struck out over 300 last year. 308.
Might be difficult. Are you having any thoughts?
A couple of ideas.
A couple myself. But...
1 ball, 2 strikes. One and two. What do you have?
I got Madison Bumgarner.
I had him on my list.
I have Philly, excuse me, the Rangers pitcher Hamels. Is that not? Did he win a Cy Young?
I don't think so. It's a good one. It's a really good one.
Thank you. I hope it works.
He went around. So that's 10 for Sale in 4 innings. Boston leads 8-1.
Friday nights are best spent at the K with Buck Night and Summer Fireworks. Come out every Friday home game during the summer and enjoy hot dogs and peanuts for just $1. Stay after the game for a fireworks spectacular right from your seats. Join us for our next Buck Night and Fireworks on July 20th when the Royals host the Twins at 7:15. Tickets available now at Royals.com. Want to see you here. Popular night.
Bert Smith has set down 6 of 7 since taking over in the 3rd inning. Line drive to right, drops in front of Herrera. Brock Holt is 2 out of 3 and has driven in 2 of Boston's 8 runs. And now Eduardo Nunez. Oh, and 1 on Nunez. All right, so with our trivia question, you had Madison Bumgarner on your list. I had him on my list. Cole Hamels. Just thought the only other 2 I had were Johnny Cueto and Adam Wainwright.
Yeah. So
he's also spent part of his career as a reliever.
Going with your gut.
Well, if we both have the same guy, we should go with that one, right?
Okay.
All right. Madison Bumgarner. Correct.
Ding, 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 ding.
So now Wainwright, Cueto, and Hamels. Well, we can guess them all. I mean, we get 3 guys and 3 strikes.
I like our chances tonight.
Cole Hamels. Strike 1. Adam Wainwright. Strike 2.
Easy.
So how do you feel about Johnny Cueto?
Went from feeling great to not so sure.
Foul up the first base line. Cole Hamels' career ERA 3.4. Adam Wainwright 3.3.
Sorry, we missed.
It's all right. They were good guesses. Madison Bumgarner was 3.00.
We made it by the skin of our teeth. That roll it.
Mondesi flips to Escobar. Double play.
That'll help Birch. High heater too. Mondesi probably could have taken it himself, but why would you when you got Escobar right there? A little bit easier play for him to throw it.
Royals bullpen turns another double play. What about former Red Sox lefty John Lester?
I like that a lot.
More than Johnny Cueto?
I do. Guy's a great pitcher. Been through a lot of adversity in his career, but he's a winner.
Leon drives it to deep right, and Herrera is there. So 3 scoreless innings for Bert Smith tonight, and now 9 straight over his last 5 appearances.
for the Miller hold true moment. And Chris Sale, well, he's being Chris Sale. He's pretty good at pitching. I mean to tell you, you can hardly hit him. You can't pick him up. The spin, the arm angle, the velocity, you name it, he's got it. One of the best in the business.
He has struck out 10. So 10 or more for the 8th time this year, and 61 in his career. Only Max Scherzer has more among current pitchers. That used to be an issue for him against the Royals. Royals, that championship core going back to 13. Sale had a tough time getting to double digits, and Royals would get 8, 9, 10 hits off of him just about every time they faced him. His teams are only .500 in his career against the Royals. He's made 22 starts, and White Sox and Red Sox combined are 11 and 11. His personal record is 10 and 10, so he's been involved in just about every decision. 2-2 on Escobar.
That guy right there, he's got the most hits off of Chris Sale in Sale's career. Escobar hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball to left field last time up. Can be proud of that moment. Well, you know, I think that's he can tell people I own Chris Sale, and I think Sale would probably say you're right.
Owning him might be a little strong,
but he does have a homer. Okay, I don't know. I think 350 or better is probably owning. Still close.
Mondesi hits it out to right field. Mookie Betts is there. 2 outs. Mondesi's 0 for 2. All right. So are we down to Cueto and Lester
for our final guess?
Yep.
And it's strike 3. So we either hit a homer or we're out. We strike out.
Which one do you like?
I like Lester. Lester for the win.
All right. John Lester. Correct.
Who is it? New York Mets. Not DeGrom. Oh, I thought about him. I didn't think he was old enough. I didn't think he had enough time in the business. That's a fair ball. He might get 3. Not with this lead. He'll shut it down.
So another double for Witt. He's on with 2 outs.
I thought about DeGrom, Ryan, but I just thought he was too young. I didn't think he had enough starts.
Well, I think what mixed us up is that Chris Sale, you know, he's been making starts for 7 years, but 100 starts really isn't that many. I mean, that's 3 full seasons in the big leagues.
Right.
A little more than 3 full seasons in the big leagues. So I'm with you. Yeah, I was thinking more a career that would parallel Chris Sale. A win for the Truck. Rosell Herrera has struck out looking twice.
Lester, his best finish for a Cy Young was 2016. He was 2nd. Scherzer won. Cy Young will be interesting this season in the American League. Bunch of guys. Verlander, Garrett Cole. This guy, Chris Sale, no question about it.
Luis Severino.
Oh, exactly. That guy's a beast. Oh, we didn't meet the reigning Cy Young. Corey Kluber, Bauer. Those 2 guys are in the running. Bauer has a strong chance this year with his numbers. Closer for Seattle.
Edwin Diaz. Chop to third. Nunez over to first. Herrera's down, and so the Royals in the bottom of the fifth. In a one-sided game coming on with the score 8-1 in the top of the third inning. He's given up just a couple of singles and 3 scoreless innings.
Been impressive to me. This young man, his last few relief appearances have been impressive. It's like he's in charge, and that's what you want, to show that to the opponent and to your manager that you're auditioning by your performances. I've been impressed. I know they are. Look at that bullpen. Penn's been doing some great work. These guys are establishing their roles. I mean, think about it. Herrera's gone. Keller, who's starting tomorrow, was their 8th inning guy, kind of settling some things down there. So that's doing a good job of finding out who can do what by giving them a chance. Got to give them an opportunity. But it's up to the performer to execute.
1-2 on Jackie Bradley Jr., who is 0 for 2. And now he's down on strikes, and that's Bert Smith's 2nd strikeout tonight. Let's go to Joel.
Well, guys, we are getting close to the All-Star break, and you can catch baseball's biggest stars for an unforgettable show from the nation's capital, the MLB All-Star Game, July 17th, only on Fox, or stream it live on Fox, the Fox Sports app. And as we remember from here at Kauffman Stadium, it is a full few days of festivities, including the Futures game, and the Royals finding out today that Suli Matias, their 19-year-old prospect at Low A Lexington, will be in the Futures game, and this guy has been opening eyes all around baseball. Outfielder, nice job by the outfielder with Merrifield there. Guys, he leads every level of the minor leagues in home runs this year. And he had a 9-game homerless streak that ended tonight. So he hit his 25th home run of the season. He's just 19 years old. So Suli Matias, still a lot of development ahead, will be on display at the Futures game.
Great. Always good to see a future Royal in that game.
Ball 1 on Andrew Benintendi, who has 2 hits and a run scored. 1-1. In the first 2 innings, the Red Sox had 8 runs, 9 hits. And now in the last 3+ innings, no runs on 2 singles. Red Sox have also hit 3 home runs tonight back in those first 2 innings. Betts with a leadoff home run. And then Martinez and Bogarts hit 2-run home runs in the second. All those runs were charged to Jason Hamill. Changeup over the outside. So make it 4 scoreless innings for Bert Smith, and he has struck out 3.
Wow, impressive. Keep it up, young man. Ballpark deals available now exclusively through the Ballpark app. Get a $5 ticket for this Sunday, July 22nd game versus the Twins. Be one of the first 10,000 fans through the gates to receive a coffee mug featuring the 50th season logo presented by Subway. For more information, visit Royals.com/ballparkdeal.
Time for our Sonic Slam inning. Mike Moustakas will lead off. Our contestant is Peggy Wagoneer from Kansas City, Kansas. If the Royals hit a home run out of the park in this inning, Peggy wins $3,900. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Peggy wins 25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. Moustakas, Perez, Bonifacio coming up. So far the Royals have 4 hits against Sale, 2 singles and 2 doubles. Sale has walked 1 and he has struck out 10. Leon, the catcher, long run, and then Sale comes over and makes the catch. And he's saying that's right. Representing every other major league pitcher.
David Price got a kick out of that. He's a left-hander. We'll see him. Nunez, a third baseman, he's not real happy that his pitcher caught that ball. But look at Sale. He knew they were playing him to pull, and he's got some athleticism there. That's right. He's saying, that's right, I made the catch. Wouldn't have been caught. Who says you can't have fun at the ballpark?
I think the deeper question is, who says a grown man who can throw a baseball 60 feet 6 inches over a 17-inch plate can't catch a pop-up? Lined into the right field corner, foul by a foot.
That makes whale glue.
Which is a baseball term for a lot of money. Not to mention, what do pitchers do during batting practice?
They shag in the outfield.
They stand in the outfield and they catch fly balls. I don't get it, Hud. I just don't get it.
You know, we talk a lot about the new school, the modern day players and all that stuff, but that's old school. Don't let the pitcher catch the ball. Why don't they change that? They always figured that the pitcher was non-athletic. It was just it's a label they put on them. Not fair. So the corners and the catcher, the corners really have the priority, and they're the ones who are responsible for any pop-ups in foul territory. Oh,
Salvi goes down and gets a low pitch, and he just golfs it out into left center field. He's on with one out.
Boy, that's nice. I mean, look, Salvi's faced him a bunch of times too. Look at that great head position. I mean, like he couldn't hit a golf ball any better. Watch him. Short step here, okay, like that. But the head position is even better. Stays down. Everything's down, and he's able to hit the ball in a nice trajectory. Serve it up. Good two-hand follow through. That was one of Salvi's nicest swings, along with a great at-bat we saw a couple games ago of him milking some pitches and going to right field. That's what's going to get his average back up. Little swings like that.
Jorge Bonifacio has 2 hits. He doubled against Sale in the 2nd inning and came home on Escobar's single. And he also has an infield base hit. I got a rule for you. You know, some want to get rid of the overshifts. You know, that's probably something that's going to come up, and they want to either make a line or have an imaginary line where the shortstop can't go to the right of second base. The second baseman can't go to the left of second base. You can still shift, but you just can't have 3 guys on one side. That's something that's been discussed. How about if an infielder catches a pop-up and at any point makes contact with the dirt on the mound, it's a hit.
Well, that's really tough. That'll be hard because,
I mean, come on, think of how far an infielder has to go to get to the mound
and run up it.
Yeah,
when you're not looking at it.
How many times have you seen a guy fall down?
Lots.
Sprinting over from third, and the pitcher's standing right there the whole time. 11 strikeouts for Chris Sale, and that's 4 starts in a row for him where he's had at least 11 strikeouts.
And that is firm.
You like that rule?
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I think they should do something to let the pitcher back in the game again defensively. A lot of Ks, frontwards and backwards.
A lot of looking.
Well, not surprised by that because of the deception. He's just deceptive, and he throws across his body. Hard for righties and lefties. We showed you the splits that Sale has versus right-handed batters and left. Both of them under 200.
Hunter Dozier has walked and struck out. 98 miles an hour with his 94th pitch. We were looking at some numbers prior to the game tonight, and there's one that takes a while to explain, but it really does explain what Chris Sale does. Chris Sale is second to Max Scherzer in swing and miss strikes. So that's doesn't seem like a big number until you break it down. That's the number of swing and misses on strikes, not pitches out of the strike zone where a guy chases. But you know, when you take a swing, a lot of times you're going to foul a ball off or put it in play. But Sale and Scherzer have the highest percentage of swings and misses on pitches that are in the strike zone. Like right there, that wouldn't count. That's a strike. Hunter swung. He made some contact, so that doesn't count. Because, you know, a lot of strikeout pitchers, you know, they've got some sort of put away pitch, and more times than not, when they swing and miss, it's not a strike.
Okay.
It is not in the strike zone.
All right, this is what this category is right here. It's all about stuff. See all those guys named right there? All those guys, they got stuff. Stuff equals velocity and movement. So I'm not surprised. Did I spell that right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that just means, you know, pitcher doesn't really have to be, when you're like Sale or Scherzer, you don't have to be that careful. I mean, you just, here it is, strike.
Movement. Velocity.
And further explaining that graphic, a lot of the strikeouts that Sale and Scherzer get are looking when the hitter doesn't get the bat off of his shoulder. They hit 3 home runs and they scored 8 in the first 2 innings against Jason Hamill, and then Bert Smith just turned in 4 scoreless innings. Chris Sale has given up 1 run, 5 hits in his 6 innings, and he has struck out 12. There is activity right now in the Red Sox bullpen. Sale doesn't appear to be coming out of the game right now. Makes you wonder how much Alex Cora will push him in a 7-run game in the bottom of the 7th inning when the Royals come back up. Brian Flynn is a Chevy call to the bullpen in the top of the 7th inning, and he'll get the middle of the Red Sox order: Martinez, Pierce, and Bogarts. And he, like Bert Smith, has been on a bit of a roll lately. Brian had 2 2/3 scoreless on Monday against Cleveland. He has 5 consecutive outings without allowing an earned run, and 8 of his last 9 have been scoreless. That was hit off the end of the bat right to Witt, and there is 1 out. Let's go to Joel.
A chance to talk to a gentleman sitting in the visitors general manager's box here earlier tonight. That will be Hall of Fame manager Tony La Russa, still in baseball. I said, you know, what's the goal now? And he said, I want to still be close to the game. He has a long friendship with Dave Dombrowski, the general manager of the Red Sox, so reunited to work with him. And he was, as I was talking to him, watching every little small detail that went on during batting practice. I said, what are you looking at? And he said, I want to look and make sure guys aren't just playing home run derby, that guys are running hard, that guys are working on their fielding those are the little things that lead to a big baseball culture. And then I report back to Dombrowski and tell him about it. He said a lot of respect for Dombrowski, a lot of respect for Dayton Moore and the way he goes about things and the way he has built the culture here. And he said he also has a great tie with a former Royals coach. When he was a rookie manager, guys, in 1979, he lobbied the White Sox, just get me this young center fielder up. He doesn't have any experience in the minor leagues, but get him up. I want him on my team. That guy was Rusty Kuntz.
Steve Pearce is out, 2 down, and I think, to add to Joel's point, I think they go back to the White Sox organization. It's for Dave Dombrowski. Got his start, and Tony La Russa got his first managing job with the White Sox. You always think of him with the A's and the Cardinals, but as a very young man, he was a manager with the Sox, the White Sox.
That's why those guys' hero is Roland Heeman. And nice compliment to Rusty Kuntz. Saw him today. It's always great to see him. We miss him. Players do too.
Xander Bogaerts has one of the 3 Boston home runs tonight. 2-run shot in the 2nd inning.
Brian Flynn, he's been tough. Really like it. He's getting in a nice groove. When you're as big as he is and as tall, and you use that downhill angle, he's got a good sinker, slider, change curve, 4 pitches, but he's focusing down and pitching to contact. Those are the big things that have allowed him his success this year. And I had a feeling before the season started that Flynn was going to have a nice season, that he was going to come back strong from his injury he had last year and the embarrassment of that whole thing falling through the barn. And look at him, he's dealing, getting chances. Now Ned hasn't used him in a lot of meaningful situations and stress, but he's eating up innings. That's what you want. Opportunity to pitch. Look at that nice spot, staying out of the middle.
Tyler Thornburg is warmed up and ready to go in the Red Sox bullpen. And now Sale isn't sitting on the bench, at least not the dugout bench. He's just hanging out on the near the railing of the dugout, so that would be a sign that he's done for the night.
Yeah, they've been picking their spots with him and taking him out up the 7th inning to preserve his energy in his arm. There's been opportunities where he could have gone much deeper in games, but they're giving him a chance to catch up health-wise.
That'll spin foul. Chris Sale was the White Sox 1st-round pick in 2010, and just like Brandon Finnegan for the Royals, they called him up that same year that he was drafted, and he pitched out of the bullpen very successfully, and it looked like he was headed toward being a closer. And then he went on the disabled list with a little forearm strain in 2014, and there was some talk about him going to the bullpen when he came back, and he famously went up to Kenny Williams, the White Sox general manager's office, and challenged him. He said, look, I'm not a reliever, I'm a starter. You're going to keep me in the rotation. Pretty good decision by the White Sox, I'll say. the Ranch for the win pitching line. And Chris Sale is lined up for the win. It would be his 100th career win. He had 12 strikeouts and 1 walk in 6 innings, and the only run he allowed was on a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. And now Cetus Escobar singled in Jorge Bonifacio in the 2nd inning.
And that catch. I don't think I've ever seen him smile on the field until that moment right there.
Probably right. This is Tyler Thornburg. And he misses low to Lucas Duda, ball 1. Thornburg was involved in a trade 2 off seasons ago between the Red Sox and the Brewers. Red Sox needed some help in their bullpen. Thornburg had a great year for Milwaukee in 2016, and it cost the Red Sox Travis Shaw, the left-hand hitting 3rd baseman. 2-1 on Duda, and Shaw took off immediately in Milwaukee. Thornburg never pitched last year. He had an injured right shoulder and then ended up having that thoracic outlet syndrome surgery and missed the whole year. So this is his Red Sox debut. He has not pitched since October of 2016.
Look, he has a good looking changeup. Obviously you got to have the fastball and a breaking ball to go with it.
Two and 2 on Duda, who struck out twice against Sale. Into the right field corner. Betts dives. He came up about 2 feet short. And Lucas Duda is on his way to 3rd. And that's worth $1,000. Kansas City Honda Dealers donates $1,000 to the KC Urban Youth Academy.
And Mike Jershely, I'm sure the character he is, he gave him a crack, and Duda's laughing, but he couldn't have placed it any better. Now Betts, you gotta love that. This game pretty much is out of hand, and he's diving for the ball, and but Duda took advantage of it and got his first triple of the year. Wow.
That's his first triple in 7 years, almost to the day, July of 2011.
He was zippity there. By the way, Lucas.
Now I'm going to disagree with you, Hud.
Okay. You thought that was eyewash?
He's better than that.
Yeah, no.
No chance, and now there's a runner at 3rd, and he might cost this pitcher an earned run because he's diving for a ball that he had no business diving for.
Okay, I can agree with your side.
One and 2 on Escobar. He was 1 out of 2 with the lone RBI against Chris Sale. Mookie Betts, however, has 2 more Gold Gloves than I do.
And 2 more than I myself.
How many do you and I have combined? 0? Yeah. That'll twist into the seats. Your predecessor and I had a combined 8 Gold Gloves.
Yeah. Hero of mine. I loved him. And I still do. But I was a player when he was a player.
Shallow center, and Jackie Bradley Jr. ran a mile to get to it. So Duda holds at 3rd, 1 down.
Wow, man, I thought that might have had a chance. Fans, the Royals and Price Chopper are excited to announce the return of the Grand Slam 4-pack. Perfect for your family. This ticket package includes 4 seats in the View Reserve section, plus 4 Royals caps, all for just $44. Head to your local Price Chopper to purchase this exclusive deal, good for most Sunday through Thursday home games.
Oh, and 1 on Mondesi. He is 0 for 2. Holt. That's a nice play out in shallow right. Mondesi will get an RBI. It is 8-2.
Lucas Duda, not only was he kind to make a $1,000 donation by that triple, but he did a nice job there reading that ball. That ball could have been a liner. Watch him up the top left screen. He's going to freeze. Look at him. He freezes, sees it down, going to score the run. That's a nice reaction there. He knew what he was doing. You want to get doubled up. There's no need to. Down all in runs.
Whit Merrifield is 1 for 3.
I've been impressed with Lucas Duda this season in a lot of areas, mainly defensively. The only time I even knew about the kid was when the Royals played him in the World Series when he was with the Mets. And watching him work in spring training around the base, and then watching him this season in games, his footwork around the bag is impeccable. He's got a nice throwing arm. He makes the turn for a right-handed first baseman, makes the turn to second base on a double play as good as any left-handed first baseman. And he's got some pop. He can turn on the heater.
His demeanor is about as professional as you'll ever see.
Ever. It's wonderful. It's easy to talk to. You know, I played with some great first basemen in my life, so I'm not just trying to promote the kid. I like him. I like what he's shown.
Whit
Nice
lines
swing.
one out to his former college teammate. So Duda gets a triple for the first time in 7 years. And comes around to score to make it 8-2.
Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery, a really tough night for Jason Hamill, opening up the opportunity for what turned into a really good one for a young Royals reliever.
Yeah, just watching the development of Burke Smith over this season has been really nice to watch. Tonight, a really nice step in the right direction.
So we will talk plenty about Birch Smith, hear from Jason Hamill, Ned Yost, and more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live, plus Fireworks Friday. And between the 4 of us, we have no Gold Gloves. But if they gave one out to relievers, Monty would have had at least 3.
Well, I have an answer to that. First, let's talk about refreshing saves from Price Chopper and Aquafina, which comes in handy at this point in the summer. Sign up at mypricechopper.com/saves to save on Aquafina when the Royals get a save. No Gold Gloves among the four of us, but we do have one American League Rolaids Fireman of the Year.
That's right.
Among the four of us.
Do we have that picture that we could show of him? That baseball card? I mean, I'd love that. We haven't seen that in years, in a few years anyway. We used to show it all the time.
1-2 on Rockholt. The Red Sox scored 8 in the first 2 innings. And the Royals bullpen has pitched 5 scoreless innings tonight. And the 2 guys that have held the Red Sox down, Bert Smith with 4 innings, Brian Flynn with 1 inning. You figure the Royals are going to want to get long looks at both of them in the second half. Slow roller, Mondesi sprints in, flips with his glove, and it's not even close.
When you have closing speed, that really cuts down the hitter's chances of getting the infield hit. Closing speed is getting to the ball. It works for an outfielder. Outfielder closes in on a ball quickly, he has a chance to throw the runner out. Look at that. That's the cat quick right there, and got him by plenty.
Did you ever make that play?
I did.
Where does the ball need to be in your glove? Does it need to be on the palm part of your glove or in the webbing part of the glove?
Webbing.
In the webbing?
Yeah. And Mondesi looks like he uses a bigger glove. It'll be interesting. I'll have to ask him, does he uses the same glove at shortstop and third base as he does at second? Typically you might have a shorter, smaller glove at second, but anymore we used to have to get the ball, get rid of it quickly because the guy was going to come in after you and break your leg if you didn't get it out of there. So it's a different game now at second base. So he probably is using the same glove. I see the H pocket web. That's okay. I didn't like it. I wanted something close. Oh, good try. Almost got it. A web pocket is like for third baseman, shortstop. It's bigger. But I didn't like my fingers getting caught in it trying to transfer. So I like to close web in the back. Just depends on what you like. But Moose had a good effort there, but you see that glove there. That's it.
Interesting. So that you say that's more for a third baseman with that webbing like that, because in the quick turn you grab for the ball. If you miss, you could grab some glove.
Yeah, you get a little finger and caught in there. Now it just all depends, but I like mine closed. And then I had a different glove for third or short.
Drew Butera has taken over behind the plate. Runner at second, 1 out. Sandy Leon bats right-handed for the first time tonight. He drove in a run back in the first inning. Boston batted 9 and scored 4 in the first. And then they had a pair of 2-run home runs and scored 4 more in the second. And then Bert Smith and Brian Flynn have taken over. I'd never heard that before, Hud. I mean, I'd heard the size of the glove. You know, as you pointed out, you know, a little bigger at third, smaller gloves at the middle, bigger gloves in the outfield, but I'd never heard the webbing part of it.
Closed back. And you know what was interesting is that Bucky Dent, New York Yankee shortstop, showed me he put tongue depressors, the long tongue, wooden tongue, in his fingers of his glove.
Keep it flat?
Yeah, so when he put his glove down to pick up the ball, it would roll right into it.
Nunez goes to third on the long fly ball by Leon.
And it made sense. A lot of infielders will take those fingers at the end and they'll kind of fold it. They'll fold them. But then what happens when you fold it and you put your glove down to field the ball, it gets in the way of the ball rolling in. So the tongue depressors kept his fingers straight. So when he put his glove down, the ball would roll right into it. I've never seen anything like it.
Runner at third, 2 down. Jackie Bradley Jr. Blocked by Butera.
Oh, looking at it. I've done that before, so I never have nobody on
1 ball, 1 strike. Not only have Bert Smith and Brian Flynn held the Red Sox scoreless at least to this point since the 3rd inning. This is the first time since the 3rd inning the Red Sox have had a runner in scoring position. 1-2.
Tell you what, you showed the numbers of the bullpen last 14, 15 innings, whatever, scoreless. It's been really impressive to watch these young pitchers come out and take over and say, here I am. It's my turn now. Trusting their stuff and throwing strikes.
Two and two.
You know, they're not just any kind of innings either. There's some big innings that they've gone through. So they're growing from a maturity level.
And it's also not the first time I've seen a team score big in the early innings and then just kind of go flat after that. Well hit to right field. Herrera, and it sails over his head. Jackie Bradley Jr. drives in Nunez, and the Red Sox get their first run since the 2nd inning. It is 9-2.
Flynn will tell you, he got one up, and it was well hit. Belt high. Rosie, he kind of hesitated at first, didn't turn and go. I don't think he'd have gotten it had he got a perfect jump. But what an outfielder does when that ball's hit directly over your head, the first thing you got to pick up the spin of the ball. So it takes you a hesitation for a second or so to get the right read.
Mookie Betts set the tone with a leadoff home run, number 100 in his career. Mookie Betts is hitting .337. His average has not been lower than .329 since April 3rd. Esky's got to hurry just in time. Red Sox add a run on the Jackie Bradley Jr. double. It is 9-2. Cup quarterfinals wrap up tomorrow with 2 huge games on Fox. First, Sweden will face England at 8 a.m. and then host Russia battles Croatia at 1 p.m. and you can catch it all on Fox or stream all the action live on the Fox Sports app. Here's your updated bracket.
Oh man, Brazil got beat. France is good.
Are they allowed back in the country? when you get beat in the World Cup?
Oh man,
in the quarterfinals.
Remember I told you how nerve-wracking it is. We were comparing that to a pitcher or a performer here at the big league level. These guys, you know, the whole country's watching them, and before the game they have butterflies in their stomach, and it's amazing. I wonder if Brandon Workman has any butterflies in his stomach. A lot of these guys, young or old, will tell you, yes, if I don't have adrenaline and I don't have the butterflies, something's wrong with me.
Blake Swihart has taken over in left field for Benintendi. There's a base hit into right field for Rosel Herrera, making him 1 for 4 tonight.
Rosie keeping it simple, breaking ball, and a pretty good one. Started at the top, he's able to read it, stayed on it.
Mike Moustakas is 0 for 3. All of those at bats were against Chris Sale. And now Leon blocks one in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. One and one. Chris Sale went 6, gave up 1 run. He struck out 12. And Tyler Thornburg gave up a run in the bottom of the 7th inning. Two balls and 1 strike. And now 3-1. Drew Butera will bat for the first time. Took over for Salvador Perez in the top half of this inning. And a 3-1 pitch is belted to right field. And that is number 17 for Mike Moustakas. I think his back is feeling okay.
Oh, that 3 days off helped him a lot, no question about it. We talked about it in the open of our show tonight. How having Moose back in the lineup brings exactly this. A home run threat, an opportunity. 89, it looked like an off-speed pitch. Moose stayed on it, front foot kept his body in balance, and he threw them hands and got the back underside.
Strike on Drew Butera.
Love those gold numbers.
That's 3 home runs for Mike Moustakas in his last 6 games. And 7 RBIs in his last 6 games.
400 feet. Just put a nice easy swing on it. 30 degrees, 102 exit velo. Backspin is what you get for the exit velocity and carry. Launch angle, you have to get it up to get it over the fence.
Bogarts circles around and backhands. 1 out.
Fans, don't miss the final T-shirt in the 50 season shirt series presented by Charlie Hustle on Monday, July 23rd, featuring everyone's favorite hot dog derby contestants: ketchup, mustard, and relish. Purchase your theme ticket today at royals.com/theme tickets.
Jorge Bonifacio with one out. He has 2 hits tonight. Ball 1 from Brandon Workman. That's his trademark pitch right there, that curveball. That's an old-fashioned right over the top curve. Or as they would describe it, if you were looking at the face of a clock, breaking from 12 o'clock right down to 6 o'clock, a 12 to 6 curveball.
Yeah, now his curveball, it's a good one, but it's only 60 on the scout scale of 80. How do you figure that?
Still good.
Is that good?
Yeah. I think it's kind of
okay.
I'd say that's good. 70, really good.
Okay.
80,
the best.
Yeah.
But we rarely see those.
Jammed him. And Leon is there to make the play. 2 down. Sandy Leon. I just mentioned Blake Swihart is in the game in left field. He's the most highly touted of catching prospects for the Red Sox, a first-round pick in 2011. But this is a guy after your heart, Hud, Sandy Leon, a guy that's just hung in there and was overlooked for years. And has turned himself into a big league regular. Royals get 2 on the Mike Moustakas home run.
Oh, it's nice to see Moose back in that lineup. Rats.
Going further so you can. Here's the Royals home run tonight. Mike Moustakas making it 9-4. The Red Sox have hit 3. Betts, Martinez, and Bogarts. Royals bullpen has done a nice job tonight. Bert Smith and Brian Flynn have combined for 6 innings and allowed 1 run. And that's just 1 run allowed for the Royals bullpen in the last 20 1/3 innings.
Impressive.
Here's Blake Swihart. We were just talking about him. First round pick in 2011. Top prospect for years as a catcher. Back through the middle. Mondesi flips to Escobar. But I don't know if Esky was ready for it or it wasn't a good flip. I don't think Swihart would have been thrown out. It was a heck of a try.
Yeah, Esky wasn't ready, I don't think. Let's see it again, but Esky smiled right away. Yeah, nah, it was, yeah, it didn't work. Good try. But see how quickly Mondesi got to that ball. He got nice range. Ooh. Just like Joel's report from Mike Jerschley. Today's best range he's ever seen.
JD Martinez hit a 2-run home run in the 2nd inning.
I think the best range I ever saw was Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith in his young days.
I remember when they used to play years ago, This Week in Baseball, you know, would precede the game of the week.
Mel Allen was doing the commentary.
Yep, and then they'd have it on the, you know, when teams started getting video boards and they'd play it in the stadiums. And Ozzie Smith had to play every week. A new one. And show that I used to get up early and watch in the summertime, the Baseball Bunch, which was before This Week in Baseball, which was before the game. And Ozzie Smith had a character on that show, the Wizard, which that was his nickname. That's the 2nd time that JD Martinez has lost a bat tonight, and that one got the home plate umpire Ryan Blackman. Thankfully, he's smiling.
Yeah, I hear. How about some pine tar? The top hand's coming off. Ooh, just missed him. Hit him in the forearm with the handle.
Tommy Lasorda had a regular character on that show, the Baseball Bunch.
It's great.
You were too busy playing. I was the one getting up early watching that show.
No, I saw.
You remember that show?
All those shows I watched.
Remember Mel Allen had Twib notes.
Oh yeah.
For This Week in Baseball.
It was great.
How about that, Mel Allen?
He's a fantastic broadcaster.
I remember what Tommy Lasorda's character was on the Baseball Bunch.
See if Flynn can put him in the lane. It's hard to, because JD Martinez has such a good inside-out swing. He's thinking right field. He's not going to roll over unless you fool him. But he's induced 10 ground ball double plays. Brian Flynn coming in 37 1/3 innings. So he's a ground ball worm burning machine. Power down. I don't know if he'll get one here off of this guy though. Martinez, that's the best way to fight grounding into a double play, is keeping your hands inside the baseball and shooting it to right.
Tommy Lasorda was the dugout wizard, even though Ozzie Smith had a recurring role.
Well, that's true. He was a dugout wizard, Tommy Lasorda.
One away. Flynn strikes out JD Martinez. He probably asked, is that because I hit you with my bat?
Well, it's because that was a good pitch, and Butera made it look even better. Nice job, Drew.
One on, one out. Steve Pearce is at the plate. And he hits that one to the gap. Swihart makes the turn at third. And he will score. It is 10 for Boston. That's Pearce. Third hit tonight and his first RBI.
So the Red Sox go out and get another masher, another guy that can hit. So that's both opposite field gaps. Pearce has hit the base of the wall in at the K tonight. He went right center, and now this is left center. Nice little classic swing with a one-hand takeoff. Excellent follow through. And Ned's going to let Flynn go.
Brandon Maurer will come on and face Xander Bogaerts. Time for the showstopper. And this is Jose Bautista. That is a walk-off grand slam into the second deck to beat the Rays. And in his long career, in the twilight stage of his long career, that's the first walk-off home run he's ever had.
That's shocking.
337 career home runs.
Wow.
And one walk-off home run.
Amazed at that. And you know what? Didn't see a bat flip there, and he knew it was gone. That was upper tank shot. Maybe his bat flipping days are over.
That was debated quite a bit. You know, whether it was okay for him to flip his bat like that, or was he disrespecting the game or showing up the pitcher.
That was an incredible moment in the playoffs that happened.
Are you okay with that bat flip?
I was okay with it. I thought that was great entertainment. I was riveted. I was on the edge of my seat. Major League Baseball has the knack to do that, especially the last several postseasons. They've all been unbelievable. It's much watch baseball. If you're a baseball fan, you have to watch it. And especially every game, all of them. There's some must-watch players out there. That kid Baez, the second baseman, shortstop, third baseman for the Cubs, stealing home the other night. I mean, there's just so many action-type athletes now that we have in the game that are really exciting. Lindor, he's a must-watch talent. Look, Betts, Trout, or just name them. Correa, they're everywhere now. It's great. Game is very entertaining. And it can get better. So a lot of people are mumbling about the strikeouts and stuff like that.
Bogaerts Fouls it into the seat. Still 3 balls, 2 strikes.
This young player, Alberto Mondesi.
Adaberto. He gave us permission to call him Ada Mondesi. But if you want to say whatever you just said, you go right ahead.
Oh no, I want to make him happy, and he's going to make a lot of us happy watching him play. He's a must-watch talent as well. And he's only improving. And he's a very pleasant young man too. Easy to speak to, has a smile on his face. Not quite like Lindor, but he's happy.
Royals just want to get him to the same place where Jorge Soler was before he got hurt. And that is a player who's just going out and playing baseball and not thinking about the hype and not thinking about the expectations and not trying to showcase any one particular skill. Just go out and play baseball. And I think Soler had finally gotten there before he got hurt.
I was thinking about him today, hoping that he hurries back, and it's going to be good to have him in that lineup. Another power bat.
He was a big time signing for the Cubs, and for a team like that, if you're a young good player, you're going to get a lot of attention. And then he homered in his first big league at bat. Soler did, so even more hype. And then he was hitting tape measure home runs, and I think a lot of people felt like he was trying to be somebody instead of just going out and playing baseball. And I think this year, he was just out playing baseball. Holt lines out to Merrifield, and there are 2 down.
It's a whole new ball game with the RBI Baseball 18. RBI Baseball 18 delivers an all-new franchise mode and much more. RBI Baseball 18 is available now. Learn more at rbigame.com. Rated E for everyone.
Holtz reminding me that Soler hit a home run in his first 3 major league games. So you can imagine what the expectations are from there. And then he wasn't an everyday player.
Yep. Well, they miss him. His smile, the way he is, he carries himself. He's a very pleasant demeanor guy too. Easy to talk to. Getting better with his English every day.
1-2 on Nunez.
But the Royals usually only sign those kind of players, guys that get along with others, don't have any bad apples.
Off of Drew's mask. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Remember, tomorrow's game is on Fox with coverage beginning at 6 o'clock. Brad Keller goes up against David Price. Kenny Albert, David Cohn, A.J. Pierzynski, along with J.P. Morosi will have the call tomorrow. A wild pitch will get Pierce to third, and Bogarts up to second.
Looking at Moose talk to Pierce at third base reminds me of the playoff games in Baltimore. Pierce was the first baseman for the Orioles. That was in 14.
Pop up to the right side. Mauer. There you go, folks. A major league record. First time ever a pitcher from each team has caught a pop-up. I just made that up, but it feels that way. first row seat, watching t-shirts go sailing over his head, listening to country music and waiting for the fireworks after the game. Hector Velasquez will get the bottom of the 9th inning. Chris Sale gave up 1 run in his 6. He struck out 12. Tyler Thornburg allowed a run. Brandon Workman gave up 2 runs. And it'll be Duda, Escobar, and Mondesi. Strike on Duda. He tripled for the first time in 7 seasons when he led off the 7th inning against Thornburg. It was a diving miss in right by Betts that went all the way to the wall, and then Duda came home on a ground out from Mondesi.
$1,000. Honda, we appreciate you.
Two balls, 1 strike. Here's another guy easy to pull for. Hector Velasquez, who pitched 7 seasons in Mexico before the Red Sox signed him as a 28-year-old. And made his big league debut last year.
Wow. Guys, just never quit. You persevere. You have a dream and you persevere until you get to it. You'll never get to it if you quit.
Grounded to shallow right. And that's Brock Holt throwing out Duda, 1 away. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Club. One out to Alcides Escobar. He is 1 for 3 with an RBI.
Yeah, Velasquez is not going to overpower you. He's a finesse pitcher, but he has good control. Fastball, cutter, curve, change. 88 to 93.
Ouch. That got Sandy Leon solid. 2 cracks. Escobar making contact with the ball, and then the ball making contact with Leon. Got him right on his right shoulder.
Did you ever catch when you were young?
I was left-handed.
Okay.
But in Little League,
yeah,
our coach had a left-handed catcher's mitt.
Okay.
I got to catch 1 inning. And I was scared to death. And that was Little League. And I did what every little kid shouldn't do when they're catching in Little League, and being afraid of the ball, turning away from the ball as it comes in, which just exposes your ribs and your back. But I mean,
and side of your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never forget it. I was so excited when I came home from. I love catching, and my mother promptly said, "I hope you enjoyed it. You'll never catch again."
Your mom said that?
Yeah. She says there's 8 other positions out there. Pick one of them, but you're not going to catch.
Wow.
Yeah. He's just afraid of the injuries and all of the foul tips, broken bats.
Speaking of broken bats, Nunez almost strided onto Escobar's broken back while making his throw over to first. 2 down. You worry about an infielder getting hit on a flying bat. Nunez almost stepped on a rolling bat. Up and away to Mondesi. He is 0 for 3. He has an RBI. Boston Red Sox are 30 games above 500, about to make it 31. They are 1 out away from their 60th win. This is the most wins they've ever had before the All-Star break. And Alex Cora's first year as a big league manager. The Yankees have already lost, so Boston will take a 2-game lead over the Yankees in the East. Seems early for us to be looking at divisions where there's only 2 games separating first from second place, but it's never too soon in New York and Boston.
Oh no.
Wide open on the left side, and Mondesi gets it through for his first hit.
Little two-seamer, stayed up, went with it.
Yeah, interesting. We were talking earlier about, some surprising managerial firings from very successful years last year. The Red Sox will allow Mondesi to take second base, no stolen base. And 2 franchises that expect to win and spend money like it's growing on trees every year. The Red Sox and the Yankees turn their jobs over to guys who had never managed before. Now Alex Cora had been building a coaching resume. Aaron Boone was a broadcaster. He was well respected as a player. And those 2 teams haven't missed a stride.
No, and both of those guys will be the manager of the year running, along with another first-year guy out in Philadelphia, Gabe Kaplan. Can't have a better, a worse first week of the season than he did, and now his ball club's looking to win. I'd like to say the same thing for my former teammate Dave Martinez. He's having a hard time in Washington. They're 500, struggling a little bit.
What a heck of a win yesterday, wasn't it? When they were down 9-1 or something like that, came back and won.
That'll lift you.
That's a good team. I'll bet they get hot in the second half.
Plenty of ball to go. Nice.
Another hit for Merrifield. Here's Mondesi, and Merrifield gets an RBI.
Great stroke right there. Looking for something out over. 10th hit right there. Nice. Take it. That's right down the middle. 92 should be hit hard. Especially a player like Witt, hitter like Witt.
'27 multi-hit games. That leads the Royals. And now he'll take second base. So the Red Sox are not worried about Mondesi moving up or Merrifield moving up. However, if Witt gets into scoring position, 6 runs would have some meaning for the Royals, because they've gone 26 consecutive games with 5 runs or fewer. And that's a club record. Witt runs again, but Herrera pulls it over to Brock Holt, and the Red Sox take game 1. Final score 10-5. Chris Sale gets victory number 100. Mookie Betts gets home run number 100. Xander Bogaerts and JD Martinez also homered for the Red Sox, and Boston takes game 1. We'll be right back.